If you only take action when you feel like it, you'll always stay average in whatever it is that you do. I used to struggle with this a lot, overindulging in junk food, skipping my workouts, being lazy, not being very disciplined. And then there was one key moment that really changed it all. This was just over 2 years ago. I was laying in bed, procrastinating going to sleep, and I had just gone through a breakup recently, completely fell off my fitness and everything I was doing. And then I started seeing all these videos of David Goggins. So I clicked on one of them, started watching it, and David Goggins was like yelling, "Oh, you're a bitch, oh, you're soft, so you need to stop being a pussy." And then, so I started watching these videos, went on a huge binge spree of watching David Goggins videos. And the most paradoxical part of it, the funniest thing, is that it was 2 a.m. and I was procrastinating my sleep while watching David Goggins. So I was literally watching videos about being disciplined while at the same time being extremely undisciplined by not going to bed at the time that I said I was going to. But a key lesson I've learned over the last few years is that as a man, if you want to become your best self, you have to value discipline over motivation. To illustrate this change we have to make, let's look at these two guys, Timmy and Alexander. Timmy watches 3 self-improvement videos while laying in bed, eating chips, and putting off doing his homework. Timmy then watches 2 hours of dating advice videos, but he sees the girl he wants to go talk to, and then he awkwardly stares at her and she walks away and he doesn't talk to her. Timmy thinks he's being productive because he's reading books, he's watching videos, oh, he's learning about self-improvement, but his life has not actually changed at all. Timmy is lacking one key trait. Who can we learn that trait from? Alexander. Alexander also watches self-help content, but instead of being an action faker, Alexander is an action taker. Alexander reads a book about how to attract girls, and what does Alexander do? He immediately goes outside and approaches 3 women. Alexander watches a video about going to the gym, and then he goes and gets a workout in. While Timmy is overthinking, procrastinating, thinking about the perfect way to do everything, Alexander is just taking action. And because of this, Timmy stays the same while Alexander rapidly improves himself. So what can we do to become more like Alexander and less like Timmy? That's what we're going to cover in this video. The first thing we have to do is we have to make a shift from being an action faker to an action taker. Now, something I want you to understand is that it's completely normal to go through a phase where you're watching self-improvement content and not taking much action. That's something I absolutely went through myself, and I've talked to so many guys who went through the same phase where they're watching stuff about going to the gym, talking to girls, improving themselves, but they're not actually taking action. So it's completely okay to be stuck in this spot. But the guys who improve themselves, the guy who get to become their best self, this time is limited to the lowest amount of time possible. It's okay to be in this spot for a little bit, but what we need to do is we need to take the leap from being an action faker to being an action taker. So if there's something you're procrastinating right now, whether it's going and talking to a girl or it's starting going to the gym, you have to understand you do not have to have the perfect routine. So many guys are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect routine, the perfect everything, but there is no such thing as a perfect moment. Because the guy who just starts going to the gym is always going to beat out the guy who waits to have the perfect workout routine, because the guy who waits for the perfect workout routine never goes and gets a workout in. The guy who sees the girl he wants to go talk to and just does it, even though he doesn't feel like it, is always going to be more likely to get the girl than the guy who says, oh, like, well, you know, right now it's just not the perfect time and I feel a little insecure, but if my biceps get a little bigger, then I'll feel confident enough to go talk to her. Shut up, bro. Just take action. Just go talk to the girl. So the main takeaway I want you to have from that section is that taking action is always better than not taking action. The second thing you have to understand is that discipline is so much more important than motivation. Bro, the truth is, I don't feel like making these videos every day. Like sometimes, you know, my throat kind of hurts or I'm tired, I'm not feeling very motivated, but I say, that. I discipline myself to do it anyways because I know it's what I have to do. It's what I have to do to fulfill my purpose. I also don't feel like going to the gym every day, but I know that, you know what, if I want to look the way that I want to look, if I want to build my dream physique, it doesn't matter whether or not I feel like going to the gym, because what you have to understand is that the world, your results, do not care about your feelings. Your results are going to be the way they are regardless of how you feel. And it's okay to feel down. It's okay to sometimes have periods where you're going through moments of not taking much action, but you have to develop this mindset that discipline is more important than motivation. Because the truth is, 90% of the days, you're not going to feel like doing what you have to do. There's going to be so many days you wake up and you don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to work hard. You don't want to study for that test. You don't want to talk to that girl. But what is the best version of you doing? Is the best version of you hearing that voice in the back of his head tell him that, oh, I don't feel like doing it today, so I'm just not going to do it? Or does he say, shut the fuck up and just take action regardless of how he feels. So here's an action step I want you to take from this video, because these videos aren't meant to just waste your time and not actually improve your life. I actually want you to do something and to make something of yourself and reach your goals. I want you to write down right now, like literally get out your note on your phone or a piece of paper right now and write down, what am I putting off? What is my biggest constraint right now that I have to do? What do I have to take action on? And that could be going to the gym. That could be going and speaking to a girl. That could be studying for your test. What action do I have to do today that's most holding me back? And I want you to dedicate some time to making progress towards that one thing. If you've been putting off talking to girls, turn off this video right now, go talk to a girl. If you've been putting off going to the gym, after this video, go to the gym. If you've been putting off studying for your test that you have to study for, go do that right now. So with all that being said, it's okay to be in a spot right now where you're not taking much action, but you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to make that shift from being an action faker to being an action taker. And you always should value discipline over motivation, because the guy who takes action, regardless of how he feels, who's disciplined, who does the hard things, is always going to beat out the guy who waits for the perfect moment and waits to be motivated, because there's never going to be a perfect moment and you're never going to be 100% motivated. And if you'd like my help with achieving your fitness goals, the link to my coaching will be in the description. I'd love to work with you and get you help achieving your dream physique. I'll see you for the next video, bro.